Back here at Johnson Coliseum, we were just over 35 minutes away from tip-off between Sam Houston State and Stephen F. Austin. Now, of course, this game tonight should be dubbed the marquee matchup for the Southland Conference. Now, there are 4 quarterbacks vying for the starting spot in the fall, but that's not the main concern for Bearcat coaches. After the departure of 3 senior running backs, Sam Houston State is just looking for someone to hand the ball off to. Now, love experts agree that baseball is the most romantic sport, so it was only fitting that Bearcat fans met here at the new ballpark on Valentine's night to watch Sam Houston State University take on a tough Aggie squad from Texas A&M University. About this time 1 year ago, Houston Astros fans were ecstatic upon seeing high-profile pitchers Roger Clemens and Andy Pettit donning the red uniforms as they prep for the 2004 season. After a wild ride through the National League, Houston clinched the wild card spot on their last game and propelled themselves into new territory in the playoffs. At this year's spring training, the absence of playoff heroes Carlos Beltran and Jeff Kent is noticeable. However, Astros veterans Craig Biggio and Jeff Bagwell still feel that the clubhouse holds that excitement for another successful season.
Well, the energy is definitely here. I mean, and expectations are there also. So, but we're going to go out there and play. I mean, we've had a lot of changes, a couple of changes on this team, but there's a lot of other players, a lot of other teams that have had some changes also. So
we have a lot of question marks this spring, which we didn't have last year. But if anything, last year taught us a lot that you just never know. So we're excited. We have a good starting rotation, great closer. We might have some young kids out there, but who knows what can happen.
With rivals around the National League Central Division stocking up with talented arms, discussion here in Kissimmee has primarily centered around pitching. An added bonus this morning here at Osceola County Stadium was the first start of the season for pitcher Andy Pettit, who pitched 2 innings, allowing 4 hits and striking out 2 in a light and mild workout here in Florida. With Andy and Roger both on the paths to recovery, Roy Oswald and young phenom Brandon Backey are 2 pitchers that have secured spots in the starting rotation. The 5th and final spot still remains open, with the Astros young guns competing for the position. Meanwhile, the Houston bullpen still remains a solid foundation for the Stros' plans for success. Reliever Mike Gallo explains.
I think Brad Lidge emerged as one of the best closers in baseball. We got a lot of young guys that have got some experience now, playoff experience as well, and I just think that the sky's the limit with our bullpen.
In the process of rehabbing a torn ACL, outfielder Lance Berkman signed a 6-year contract extension with the Astros worth $85 million. With Berkman's return still questionable and the possibility of Biggio's return to the infield, positions for the Stros are still up for grabs. Over the next week, fans will find out who makes the roster and who will be sent down to the minors. With the Astros in Kissimmee, Florida, Alex Stivers, Huntsville's TV News 7. On the east side of campus, Bauer Stadium sits quietly, waiting for the return of the football season in September. But while its seats are empty and the concourse is silent, the playing field is alive with activity. Wednesday marked the second practice of Week 3 in Sam Houston State football's spring training for 2005. With last year's success officially in the past and a brand new coaching staff taking the reins of the program, adjustments need to be considered as the Cats prepare for the fall. Although 47 lettermen will return for another run at the Southland Conference crown, the number of graduating seniors from last year's squad has left the offense depleted. Dustin Long is no longer available, and wide receivers Jared Fuller, Vince Cartwright, and Corey Zeno will also take their leave from SHSU, leaving the future of the receiving corps with some question marks. In order to remedy the problem, Coach Todd Witten and offensive coordinator James Ferguson are testing an experiment that places running back Stevie Smith on the line as a wideout. Coach Ferguson lists several of Smith's attributes that could bolster the receiving game.
Well, one thing, he's more physical. As soon as he moved out there, he was a more physical player. Again, he's a 4th, 5th year guy who's been in the weight room. He's got more strength than the wideouts got. He's got good speed. There's just a couple of wideouts with better speed, but not the strength. So they're getting banged around where Stevie's not.
While the emphasis on this year's spring training is receiving, the Bearcat rushing game looks to make huge strides in the fall. Returning for another season is Jason Godfrey, along with backup Brad Baca. Coach Ferguson adds that while the offense may be to be tweaked, the running game should not be overlooked.
We always are going to put a high priority on having a strong running game. Our linemen are bigger and stronger than they've been. Last year we were not able to just knock people off the ball. We'll be better equipped to do that this year. We're going to rely on our running game, especially early, till our receiver corps get their feet on the ground.
Now here at Bauer Stadium, all the practices, all the repetitive programs, and all the scrimmages all culminate into the biggest event here for football in the spring, the annual Orange and White game being held on April 24th. Before the offense and defense officially lock horns in a live game atmosphere at the Orange and White game, they'll charge through 3 more practices and another scrimmage. From Bauer Stadium, Alex Stivers, Huntsville's TV News 7. When members of the first SHSU inline hockey squad met at the Estill Building's parking lot on an October night in 1995, all they wanted was a place to play the sport that they loved. However, that meeting laid the foundation for a league that offers premier competition for nearly 20 schools. The team's founder, Jim Helmbrecht, would eventually step up to become the commissioner of the Southwest Collegiate Hockey League.
I wanted to keep playing hockey, and there wasn't a league down here, there wasn't a team. So I started the team up at Sam Houston. From there, we had no league to play in, so we went and we found a few other universities that formed up some teams.
Now, it all began here 10 years ago when a group of Sam Houston State students came together to form an inline hockey team. But none of them could have guessed that their simple goal would go on to accomplish so much more. Sam Houston State would become one of the founding 4 teams for the league, alongside Texas, Texas A&M, and Stephen F. Austin. A decade later, the Bearcats remain as solid contenders for the league championship, but there's something special about this season. With a 12-game winning streak to help build a record of 14-3, the Cats are eagerly anticipating the first national tournament invitation in 8 years. SHSU inline hockey president Nathan Key can only smile when reflecting on the team's recent success.
Going undefeated at home, beating SFA and all of them, that was great. It's a feeling we can't match. So right now, I mean, we can just keep going up on that ladder.
The program has experienced quite a few changes over the years. Practices have gone from skating with the ball on asphalt to specialized pucks in their facility in Spring, Texas. But Bearcat forward Tim Bates notes that the reasons for the first team are still there.
I think the whole team supports each other, so it makes it, just more of a bonding experience. We all go out afterwards, have fun. It's not just about playing the games, it's about, bonding as a team.
With the team hoping to make travel plans for the national tournament in North Carolina in April, members feel that this season could mark the starting point for another decade of Sam Houston State hockey. Alex Stivers, Huntsville's TV News 7. As sports fans across the nation are focused on the madness of March, most baseball purists at this time concentrate on the events leading up to opening day in April. With the success of the Houston Astros during their 2004 season, most fans anticipate more of the same for this year's campaign. However, with the departures of marquee players Jeff Kent and Carlos Beltran, Houston needs to fill in the gaps before the Stros take the field next month. That's where the benefits of spring training come into play. For Astros fans who just can't wait for the action to start on around April 1st, they find themselves here in Kissimmee, Florida at the Osceola County Stadium, the spring training home of your Houston Astros. The spring training atmosphere offers fans a new experience that brings them closer to players than ever before. The time before and after games could be a dream come true for autograph hunters as they seek the marks from their favorite players. The easy access to personnel could also lead to old acquaintances.
Phil, you coached me at Rocky Hill Baseball. Did I? Yeah.
Atlanta resident Tom Hutchins speaks on his connection with Astros manager Phil Garner.
Well, actually, he was one of my Little League coaches, so that's how long ago it's been. But he also was an umpire in our league, and so I got to know him then, and he's a super fine fellow.
Some fans take the opportunity to see the game in its purest form, without all the media hype and marketing. New York native Bruce Safran visits spring training to recognize his love of the game, even with the steroid problem he currently faces.
I just love baseball. I always have since I was a kid, and I'm a big old guy that's trying to get autographs still. It's just my hobby, and I love baseball. Even with everything that's going on with the steroids and all that stuff, I still love baseball. I know there's problems, but there's problems in everything that you do, so they'll work them out.
The Astros will remain in Florida for another week and a half before they return to the Bayou City for a pair of exhibition games against the Kansas City Royals. Reporting from Kissimmee, Florida, Alex Stivers, Huntsville's TV News 7.